Hey, welcome to our Friday night live broadcast on the IF KETO-Like Family Life Facebook page. We appreciate you guys jumping in with us if you're catching this live. And if you can't catch us live, we always understand, which is why we record this and post it on our Facebook page and or up on my YouTube channel. Today's discussion is going to be centered around discussing the IF and keto-like lifestyle with your kids and or family members, I guess, but we're going to mostly concentrate on kids. That's a question we get a lot because we're very open with what it is we do with our own kids and how it is we sort of model and reference and display this lifestyle for them. So if you jump on with us live, please make sure that you leave a comment for us so that we know that you are there. And if you have any questions about this topic of conversation or anything that has to do with discussing nutrition in general with your kids, we would love to be able to help you with some of our thoughts and feedback on that as well. So Michael and I are and have always been very vocal with our kids and very communicative with our kids about what it is that we do in our own nutritional lifestyle. That's just the way we parent in, I guess, all aspects of what we do with our kids. And we feel like education is super powerful and there's no need for our kids to not be exposed to what good nutrition means. And good nutrition is very selective or personal to your family. Both of our kids have had to deal with dairy intolerances from very early on, infancy, even when I was nursing them. So that has always been a topic of conversation, and the fact that they just don't feel good and have had some side effects to what dairy does to their system, just being intolerant to it or being unable to digest milk proteins. That has always been open. And then as they've matured and as they've aged, the conversation has changed. And then they've also watched me and some of the things that I have personally gone through with my own health and how I have changed, I don't want to say manipulated because that sounds like a bad word, but how I've changed and evolved over time just to really focus on me looking and feeling my best, why we as a family do have an opportunity to live our life most authentically. So first and foremost, I think education is key. We also talk a lot in this community about the fact that there's no such thing as a bad food. There is just food that's bad for certain people. We also keep that very open with our kids as well, and we really have taught them to associate food with a feeling. Again, no different than the way Michael and I run our own nutritional choices and or lifestyle. And the way we really helped Logan and Gabby with that is with the dairy, right, Michael?
Yeah, there's been a lot of times where they'll just say that they feel bad, or especially Gabby, she'll say that I have a stomach ache, and you know, and we kind of let them learn. Like we don't preach to them like, well, you shouldn't have pizza and a milkshake. It's just going to make your stomach hurt.
Or it's bad food. We never say that.
Yeah, or it's bad food. Well, go ahead, and I mean, like, if that's what you're going to eat, you're going to eat, you know. And then when they feel bad, you just kind of remind them, hey, you know, you are intolerant to dairy, and if you're going to have a pizza and you're going to have a shake, you know, you're going to have some trouble. So they've learned kind of the hard way. Like I said, especially Gabby with that issue with the dairy.
And Logan had that connection too, even before
Right.
Gabby was born, where we would go out to eat. We would eat at Ruby's in California, like a diner, and he would want a grilled cheese sandwich and a chocolate shake
did do that
or something.
A lot. Yeah.
And we're like, well, you know, you don't feel well when you eat dairy, but go ahead and see what happens. And so he would have a grilled cheese sandwich and a shake, and then he would immediately feel bad. Like he would have like stomach bloating and kind of gassiness and just not feel good in his stomach. And so he, over time, made that connection. Like, I can have a grilled cheese sandwich or a shake, but together it's not a good combination for me. And we really did let them associate a choice to a feeling. And then now, as an adult, he is able to look at food and kind of make that decision, like, ooh, that doesn't make me feel good. That's probably going to make me feel better. And he has the opportunity to make the best choices for himself. Gabby's also going through that process And now a lot of, because of what I've done with my own health and where Michael's kind of jumped on board as well, is we just have better overall choices in our house now for them. And we've eliminated most dairy, most soy, and most gluten. So they don't get exposed at home where we have control of the situation, the choices they have. They can have, you know, a goldfish type of snack. It just is a different version of a goldfish. So it doesn't have the soy, the gluten, and the dairy, and a lot of the processed stuff in it that would cause them to have a bad physical reaction. And we really do try to model what we want them to do as well. And so
that's key.
We're not saying, oh, what's good for me is not good for you. Like if we up our food game, we also up our kids' food game. And I think that's one of the things with parents and kids that always kind of makes me go, well, I don't get that. Like, why is it that we don't question things like Kraft mac and cheese in a microwave container with goopy cheese on it that doesn't need to be refrigerated? Like that always freaks me out. Or Oreo cookies or goldfish or Cheez-Its. Like we never question giving our kids those type of things because they're mainstream, right? Everybody does it. But when it comes to something that's on the quote unquote healthier side, or something that is maybe more along the lines of even supplementing, like we supplement our kids too. Like we don't say no if they want a protein shake. We don't say no if they want to have a Shakeology shake. We don't say no if Logan wants to have vitamins. We just get them the best and monitor them based on where their age is and what their physical demands are. We don't have that questioning or need a detailed explanation of something that's healthy, yet a lot of people do. And that's
they always question it. Like what is this? Like, is this safe for kids to have a protein shake or, you know, and it's, or a supplement? And like you said, they won't question like Oreo cookies or things that they know, you know, can make
processed chemical bombs or whatever. Right. And so, you know, we get questioned a lot too, like, well, do you give your kids, you know, the ketones that you drink? Yes, absolutely. We don't force anything on them, but they taste good. And if Gabby wants to have some ketones that are going to help deliver ketones to her brain or make her body feel better, yeah, absolutely. Is she going to have it in the same way that me, a 52-year-old, 150-something pound woman is going to have? No, because she's not that. She's a 12-year-old girl. So you always want to make sure that you put it in the right dose or the right serving size per their age. But you know, the big thing about kids and nutrition is they model what they see, and they model what they're exposed to, and they model what is explained to them. So open the conversation up and ask your kids, when you eat this versus eating this, how does that make you feel? And the one thing for our kids is we let them go through that process of, how do you feel when you eat this way versus how do you feel when you eat this way? And the one thing that our son really noticed was mentally, he felt so much sharper at school when he fasted. Now, do we deny our kids breakfast? No, never. We allow them to make that decision for themselves. And Gabby just said to me this morning, it was amazing. She said, Mom, the thought of eating food before I go to school makes me feel nauseous. So I have to pay attention to that comment that she made, because why am I going to stuff Eggo waffles down my daughter's throat when she says that she feels nauseous even thinking about food before school? And trust me, homegirl goes to school with like a packed lunchbox of really nutritious food, including toasted Ezekiel bread with some butter spread on it. So she has the option to eat as soon as she's done with her running. She just doesn't, she'd rather run fasted. Now, she doesn't think about it as, oh, I'm fasting to go run. She just correlates how she starts her day with nutrition based on how she feels. And eating before she runs doesn't make her feel good. So why would I, as her mother, think that I have to shove food down her throat because someone somewhere said breakfast is the smartest meal of the day, or whatever they say about that, when it doesn't make her physically feel good. And then again, with what we've experienced with our son, was that he felt more mentally sharp and energized when he fasted till lunchtime. So not that we're denying him an opportunity to have food. Our house is full of food, cereal included. He just felt that he was sharper at school when he just had his water and he skipped it and started his day with lunch. Gabby actually had, you know, they eat the same way we do too. So this is not a short order kitchen at our house. So Gabby ate what I ate last night, a grilled chicken breast in a pan with avocado oil. We had sliced tomatoes. We had homemade pesto, and she had a bowl of fruit with some cocoa whipped cream. Like, that was her dinner. Very, very health conscious, not too heavy on the carbs, not that she's being denied carbs. And then later she said, Mom, I'm hungry. I'm going to have a bowl of cereal. Yes, have a bowl of cereal. She has a healthy bowl of cereal with some almond milk, and she had a bowl of cereal before she went to bed. And then this morning she didn't feel like she needed to eat breakfast. So you don't want to ever deny your kids or make them feel like what they're doing nutritionally is good or bad, or you need to not eat that because it's going to make you look a certain way. It should never be that way. How do you feel when you eat breakfast? How do you feel when you eat this type of food? And maybe they haven't ever thought to make the association. And that really does open up that dialogue of making sure that what you're doing is making you feel the way you want to feel. And I think that's the biggest thing. You want to open up the dialogue and then educate them and then model what it is.
I think that's probably the hardest part for most people, is opening that dialogue. Because I think, like, you know, the questions that we hear from people, like, they approach their kids like, you should be doing this, or why don't you? And that's really not the way to approach it, because they're just going to shut down. You know, anybody that's had kids, you know that if you tell them to do something, or maybe you know, if you even suggest something, they're going to shut down on you, and they're not going to do it. So like Diane said, you know, by modeling it, at least, you know, they can, you know, kind of peek at you and see what you're doing. And if they try it and they feel good doing it, or if you let them do things that maybe it might not make them feel so well, and you can remind them, then you can help them get on track. But we never deny them. I mean, like, we never say to Gabby, well, you absolutely can't have candy. You know, I'm sure Halloween, she's going to get all kinds of candy. You know, we've been pretty lucky with Halloween. We've been able to, you know, donate stuff and get rid of stuff.
And out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Is awesome.
Because a lot of times they end up just forgetting about it. But, and she will eat some candy, and she'll eat stuff that's probably not the best for you. We don't deny them that. But you know, if they can get in tune with their nutrition and how it makes them feel. I know Gabby right now, she's killing it with cross country and
school.
Yeah, and she knows like how she feels. She has that connection with how she feels when she's running and when she's practicing for her runs. So I think if you help them make the connection, you don't have to preach or suggest to them and have them shut down on you.
Or make it a bad feeling. So you never want to use, you know, dialogue like associate fasting with losing weight or fasting with losing fat or anything like that. And then we talk about it as grown women, and that's sort of the end result that we want, but we're in a different place than them. So I think that to really end this cycle of bad emotional habits being connected to food, the dialogue is important, and then the association you make with nutrition, feelings, and practice really does help us create this new generation of young women who will probably not have to suffer the same things that a lot of us have suffered with our food and emotional connection. So, you know, with Logan, he understands the science behind fasting. He did a project in school, and he understands like what fasting can do for you neurologically. He understands what it can do for you physically. So he made that own connection himself. Gabby's 12. She's not studying that stuff in school. But she also knows that she has a really hard time focusing when she sits down to do her homework. And a lot of that, we know, is nutritionally directed toward her. And so we've helped her kind of understand that as well. Like, if you're feeling frustrated and you feel like you can't focus and you can't sit still, let's make some subtle changes in your nutrition and see if that helps. She made that connection. Like, she feels more settled and more controlled in her study environment at home, and she can get some stuff done more productively when she's not in this constant battle with her own body systems trying to focus and function. And that has been a really great connection too.
And kids are going to go through cycles just like we do as adults. I mean, as adults, we go through cycles. We do really, really well for a really long time, and then we slip back to something else. I mean, we've all experienced that. So kids are probably worse at slipping back to a different way because, you know, they're kids. You know, they're going to be at birthday parties and sleepovers, and they're going to do things that they're going to like eat in ways they know they probably shouldn't, but they're kids and they're going to have fun and they're going to do their thing. So you have to kind of allow that. And I think as they get older, that they start to understand more that maybe this is absolutely something they just shouldn't eat because it just doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah. And I think putting the power on them also is a great thing. So I mean, every one of Gabby's friends knows that she does not handle dairy well. And so it's always that thing that comes up, like when there's a party, a mom will ask me, oh, I understand Gabby can't have dairy. You know, what do you suggest I have for her? And I say, no, don't have anything special for her. She knows how to make her own choices. You know, she's not going to like, it's not an allergy where she's going to be life-threatened or anything. It's just a discomfort, and it's an uncomfortable thing for her. But she's allowed to make those own decisions for herself. So you don't have to go out of your way or make her, you know, feel like she has to be specialized at a party or anything. She knows that if she has pizza and ice cream, she's not going to feel good. So she'll probably pick one or the other, and you know, that's her choice. So I think that's the part too, is empower your kids to be able to make decisions for themselves, and don't put all these things on there. You're not allowed to eat this. You're not allowed to eat that. You're not allowed to eat this unless it's a true allergy that is life-threatening for them, and then you have to explain that aspect of it as well. But if it's just like you want them to have better nutritional practices, empower them, educate them, communicate with them, and then help them understand and associate a choice to a feeling. The other thing that does for our kids is it empowers them in other aspects of their life as well. So if you're giving your kids the power to make a decision of whether I'm going to do something or not do something based on how it's going to make me feel good or bad, and you start with nutrition, you're also going to give them the power and the experience to make those same decisions throughout their life. That's going to encompass other areas of their life. So it is a really good place to start with something as simple as nutrition, and they see that you're doing it, they see improvements in you, and then they're going to want to do that as well. The other thing that we talked about that we wanted to mention was, what was it? I can't remember what it was now.
Having to do
with this topic. I can't remember what we talked about we were going to mention. Anyways, if it comes to me, I'll bring it up. But yeah, for sure, it's the communication, the education, the decision, the modeling. And then here's the other thing, especially if you're a mom who does the grocery shopping, or maybe Michael does the grocery shopping too. He knows to read nutrition labels. I've taught and educated Gabby and Logan about how to read nutrition labels. So the first thing Gabby does at the store, she turns it around and sees if it passes the test for us. So practice that and teach them as well, so they understand how to read nutrition labels, understand what's better, you know, and sometimes having a better bad is okay too. So we talked about, you know, having pizza at a birthday party, like that's okay. But do you want to have the pizza and the ice cream? Or it's okay to have ice cream, but if we have full dairy ice cream, we're all sick. So is frozen yogurt maybe better? It's a better bad. And that's okay too. Not everything in life has to be perfect. You know, we love us some Krispy Kreme donuts. And every now and then we have some Krispy Kreme donuts. Now, do we get the, you know, the cream filled? No, because that'll make us all sick. But having a glazed donut isn't going to kill anybody. And that's the thing. You got to build in those little fun things and extra things as well.
And Gabby, recently, she went to a party, and it was at one of these, what was it, like one of these bouncy parties or something, trampoline party, and she got really sick. And we asked her what she had, and she had pizza there. And we're like, girl, you got to understand that, like, pizza from a place like that, it's like probably the worst kind of pizza that you can have. And it's the same thing for us. Like, we know which pizzas we can have from what place that we can be okay with. You know, there's some places we can't eat pizza from there. But there's a lot of places now that we found that are, you know, that are pretty good for us. So, or, you know, they don't make us sick.
Yeah. So what I was going to say about grocery shopping too was that don't bring into your house what you don't want your family to eat. There is, thanks to new age nutrition and nutritional sciences, there is an equally equivalent nutritionally sound product to the not so nutritionally sound product. So Gabby yesterday was having some crackers after school with some homemade pesto, and they were the Simple Mills almond flour crackers with sea salt, and she was like, Mom, these are like my favorite crackers in the whole wide world. And that's coming from a girl who could eat an entire sleeve of Ritz crackers. Ritz crackers not being the most nutritionally sound, and these Simple Mills almond crackers are the better of a cracker. So again, making sure that you're transitioning out some of the things that maybe aren't the best and transitioning some new stuff in. Our house, we have cookies in it. We have chocolate chip cookies in our house, but they are dairy-free, soy-free, gluten-free chocolate cookies. And our kids are welcome to have those as a snack. We're not denying them anything. We're just making sure that what they're putting in their body is the most nutritionally sound for their body, so that they can operate at their best and not have any of those influences in their body that are going to be combative with the hormonal changes that they're going through as well. And that holds true through all aspects of aging. You know, we talk about this a lot on my other channel, where we talk about, you know, the adolescent changes are hormonal, and they're could be wicked, but they're mostly wicked because we don't listen to the signs and signals our body is sending us. And we're going to do our best to make sure that when Gabby's going through her stage of hormonal change, that she does it with some grace, and that we honor her through that, and we do the best by her nutritionally so that she doesn't have the worst experience. So we're going to do our best to make sure that we feed her body and her mind and her heart to make sure that that's a happy experience for her. The same thing holds true when you're going through the childbearing years. Your nutrition matters. If you're having trouble conceiving, a lot of times some changes can be made in your nutrition that will help your hormones balance out, both man and woman, to help alleviate maybe some of those issues that you're having. We did it twice. Helped reverse some infertility issues that we were having. One on the comeback of a horrible miscarriage, and one right before during to get pregnant with that pregnancy. We went through a really serious nutritional revival, so to speak,
and exercise
that we did specifically for fertility purposes. And then to get pregnant with Gabby, we had to do the same thing. So nutrition's powerful, and it starts at a very young age. And if you teach at a young age and you model to your young people, they will be able to understand the influence of that and the power of that as they go through the aging process as well. Right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So hopefully that answers some of the questions. I think I got asked that 3 times this week about how do you talk about this with your kids. And the thing is, you don't want to be preachy. Just like when I was helping him come on board, I wasn't preachy. I wasn't like, you have to do this, you're eating bad. It was none of that. It was sort of like, just watch what I'm doing. And if it seems interesting to you, jump on board. And the thing with the kids is they only consume when they're in your control, right? So when they're at home or you're going out to eat or whatever, they're only going to consume what you provide for them. So if you think your kids are eating crappy food, don't provide crappy food for them. What they do at lunch, whatever, is not going to kill them. And if that's their place to do whatever it is, they think they want to exercise their power and do that, so be it. It's okay. They're going to be fine. But if you don't like what's happening in the majority of their nutritional life, control it. Control where you go out to eat for dinner. Control what you bring into your house. Control what you prepare as a meal that you have in your house. And then you'll start to see the shift really quickly. A lot of times, too, it's a palate change that has to happen.
Yeah, we actually saw a documentary on that. And there was a young girl that she's having all kinds of ADHD issues.
And autism.
Autism.
Like severe spectrum.
Yeah. Very severe, and they changed her diet, and everything changed for her. And at first, she would just take the food and she would just throw it across the room because she didn't want to eat anything healthy. All she ate was, goldfish and
mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese, and just all junk and sugar. And when they changed her diet, man, did this girl change.
I think she went 2 or 3 days without food. Like, she refused to eat it. So, and I said this before, and I said, you know, you starve them out, sort of, and you starve them out to the sense, like, if you just stop buying crappy food, and then they're like, I'm not going to snack because I don't like anything, so be it, don't snack. And then they find that they really like what you have in the house when their palate changes. The same thing happened in this documentary. This girl refused to eat. She was not speaking, and she was literally climbing the walls of her house. And she was like 5, I think, 5 or 6, right? Not speaking at all. And I think within 4 or 5 days, she started eating, and they put her on a keto diet. So so they went to like kind of the deep end of the keto to get her back. And it was like steak they were feeding her, and broccoli.
And they couldn't, I mean, they couldn't give her enough.
Like,
she was just
not fork and knife and
down on everything healthy.
I call it elbows out eating. Like, she was like eating, and you could see her mind come back and her personality come back.
You could see her eyes didn't have that glazed over, you know, kind of look. She was, you know, focused on people, and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah. So I always, you know, when I see those things, I always think like, okay, so this poor girl was on the extreme side of things, and this change of just giving her real food made that drastic of an improvement of your life. Well, what if your child isn't showing any of those signs right now? Let's say they're not showing any signs. And what if you just automatically just switch them to healthier food? What is the potential of your child? And that's really what we focus on with our kids. It's like, they're not showing any signs that anything severe is wrong. So what if we change things up and really got them into a sound nutritional plan? What is their potential? We know the amazing things it does for kids who are affected by some chemical imbalances in their life. We've seen the magic of what good nutrition does for them. So think about the fact that what could you do for the future of any child, whatever it is that they may be struggling with, if you just gave them real food and you gave them nutritious food. And we've felt the difference for us even at this stage of the game. And think about the power of what that can do for your kids or your grandkids as well. So it's always something that you should think about and incorporate whenever you can incorporate it with your lifestyle.
And it helps. It will help them a lot with not only your physical energy, but your mental energy as well. And a lot of times that mental energy, you know, we talk about it here in this community, you know, if you don't have that mental energy going, you can't get yourself to exercise or, you know, be active or do anything, because you don't have the energy for it. So it definitely changes, you know, the energy levels of the kids too. Like, you know, with school and sports or whatever they're doing, you're going to see a dramatic change what they're doing,
and what their abilities will be at school, concentration wise, creativity wise, socially, all of those aspects for sure. And then we got to factor in the hormonal stuff as well. So hopefully that answers your questions or gave you some things that you can incorporate with your family or maybe with your kids at the next dinner conversation that you have. Hopefully you're having the opportunity to sit down with your family a couple nights a week at least, and have a group dinner and just bring up some questions of how does it feel? How do you feel when you have breakfast? Do you feel hungry when you wake up? How does, you know, eating like this make you feel? And just see if you can open up the conversation and get some feedback, and then incorporate the things that you feel you need to do for your kids or your grandkids or your grown-up kids even. Who knows how you can have a positive influence there as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you guys next Friday. Any questions? I don't know. I didn't see any. Let's see. Nicole. So true. My 15-year-old son fasts 15 to 18 hours every day. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Teresa, great information. You're welcome, girlfriend. And then Nicole, he fasts longer than me. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, they're busy. So the cool thing is that he's probably doing what feels best for him, and congratulations on that. He'll probably be able to take that skill set with him through the rest of his life and probably not ever have any issues with nutrition down the road, or his health, hopefully. So congratulations to you also for noticing that that's where he thrives and encouraging him to do that. That's awesome. Okay, so I think that's it.
That's it.
All right. Okay, have a good weekend. We'll see you guys next Friday. Any questions that come up on this subject or any other information that you would like, or some tips or tricks, let us know. We'll be happy to share with you what we do with our family as well. See you guys later.
See ya.